So good morning everyone, welcome to Satsang. Let's make some silence first. In a moving universe where nothing stands still, I become stillness. In the middle of my universe, of I universe, where nothing stands still, where emotions fluctuate, change, where thoughts arise and disappear, followed by other thoughts, again and again and again and again. Impulses, needs, dependencies, weaknesses, desires, everything arises and disappears. I stand still. I become stillness. So good morning, everyone. Just reminding you that we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. You can send your questions and they come directly to me. So today I will give you a schematics for you to reflect upon. And it's more or less like this: superficial chaos, superficial peace, deeper chaos, deeper peace. So what does this stand for? Usually, seekers tend to be at this first two layers, trying to move beyond the superficial chaos, which is normal life, which is the experience in circumstances, the experience which is connected to others' experiences, that it is circumstance-based experience. There's interaction with others, with the environment, all these sorts of experiences. They are connected to the world. So in a way, everybody looks to go a little bit beyond these agitations, this chaos, to move to the superficial peace, which is a peace which is found in those same circumstances. By changing those circumstances, by adapting them, and by also adapting themselves a little bit also. And the name says it all: superficial. And there's a difficulty because of this need for this peace, and without understanding that this is not really peace. So deeper peace is compromised because of this one. There's a natural instinct driving you away from this superficial chaos, and you get stuck at this level of trying to maintain this superficial peace. That for you, it is a lot, of course. And to access more deeper peace, you will have to go through the deeper chaos. What is the deeper chaos? Well, the deeper chaos is as you move closer to the source of the chaos, which is yourself, not others, not in circumstances. In circumstances, it's much more easy to deal with because you see an outside source of your suffering, of your agitation, of the conflicts. So it's like you have an enemy to fight. You can use your power to change circumstances, so you think. So it is a little bit more easy. This inner chaos is much more difficult to deal with because it is at a level that there's no escape from. It's much more close to you, it's intimate, and much more intense. But if you want to go beyond that which is automatic, that which is driving you, the source of the experience that you are having, if you want to transcend that, you will have to be in the presence of that deeper chaos. No matter how well intended you are, you will be living this, going through these layers from superficial chaos to superficial peace. And then as you notice, you're already at superficial chaos and again struggling to go to superficial peace. And this happens because, well, they sort of feed each other. And this natural barrier needs to be broken down. And it's not just by willpower. Certain conditions need to be there. Your practice, your spiritual practice, your meditation has to be in a level of high intensity. Your understanding has to be a little bit more mature, because starting the fire of intensity, anyone can do it, more or less, theoretically at least, but going through it and taking the best out of it, this needs maturity. Because it is really too intense. There's an underlying understanding, which is quite difficult to maintain in normal environment, in normal conditions. It is much more easy to see and to maintain when you're secluded. Because when you're secluded, there's no one else there to create conflicts with. So it's much more easy to maintain this outlook. When you're not secluded, projecting the conflict into others, it's natural. It's like it is the way of nature of using its puppets, turning against each other's and giving importance to the conflicts, to the world, to life, to experience. Eventually, all these experiences mirror this pseudo-identity that really doesn't exist. It's like the importance of the world gives a feedback of importance to this character in that world that has no value, like the world itself. So it is a play of importances. This is why it is important to, besides maintaining your meditation at an intense level, it is important that sometimes this intensity increases a lot. And by doing so, away from secluded, away from interactions, you will have a better chance to experience things at its source and to see your own mechanics, the pathways to illusion, the pathways to investment, to confusion. You will see them at the source. And it is very important, these periods, because as you are exposed to this in that intensity, some start to break and you will start to have a more clear vision that in normal stance you wouldn't. But with this vision in normal stance, you will start identifying things and getting out from them. So as you move to intense retreat, that you are forcing yourself, for example, in a 10-day period, 10 hours a day meditation, with focus, discipline, no outside distractions. It is a journey that happens with lots of ups and downs, where you will see the negativities, the dependencies, your limits even, because there are limits. There's a reason why many have difficulties in reaching a high vibration and then maintaining it, because you don't want to. The character doesn't stand it. It is overwhelming. It is, for this character, a destructive force. So you protect yourself from it. So many seekers struggle to maintain a high vibration, to reach it. And it's difficult many times. Maintaining it's very difficult, and they have no clue that they really don't want to. And when I say you really don't want to, it doesn't mean that you cannot achieve it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't struggle for it. It means that it is important for you to identify the obstacles. And every time you go deep enough, you will see that you are the obstacle, nothing else. And you will see that by thinking that you want it very much, a part of you wants it, of course, but the other part doesn't really want, and it's struggling against it. And by knowing that you are struggling against it, then you have a chance to reach it. Without knowing this, you're just sabotaging yourself constantly, not allowing this vibration to come, not allowing yourself to maintain in it. If you don't know what's an intense retreat, then you might actually find yourself in one without knowing. But when you know it, well, you might be anxious for another one or fearful for another one. That depends a lot on the level of your maturity. So this tendency of resisting the chaos, resisting how do you say this? Let's use the previous term, resisting the chaos. This is a tendency that you need to overcome. Because the more closer you are looking into your own mechanics, the more intense it will be, the more chaotic it will be. You will have to deal with despair, with profound suffering at all levels. Whatever is painful to you, whatever is more important to you, there will be that intense suffering. It's like living your own personal hell. And in this situation, with that tendency of struggling to maintain superficial peace, you will tend to stop it or not going through it. You will try to go back to that superficial peace. So you need to be aware of it so that you can overcome that tendency. And most importantly, allow yourself to be in the middle of your chaos. So there's this idea that, well, I'm going to do an intense meditation retreat, for example, taking a period just to close myself. So I'll make sure that there's no sounds around, that everything is perfect. I have all the perfect conditions. And this tendency, this is harmful to your practice. Taking a little precautions is good, but trying to control the environment, that's not good. And when you go for it, you will have to know, or you will be caught off guard, that you will go through your hell. And the intensity of that hell will be according to possibility, to what you can handle. And if it is there, it's because you can handle. But your experience will be that you cannot handle it. It is impossible to handle. But that's not the case. If it's there, it is possible. And the more you are able to stay in it, into that deeper chaos, exposed without any excuses, without any distractions, without others' involvement, and even if your mind is trying to establish those connections with the noises, with anything that comes from the outside, which is disturbing your meditation, by knowing that, you will cut it immediately. And eventually you will see. You will see all that is there. And if you can keep your eyes open and maintain that work, a lot of things starts getting dissolved. Yes. But even more important than that, you will start seeing the bricks of what you call reality, of your reality. The pathways to your distraction. The pathways towards investment. The deeper beliefs that are there. This is very difficult to see with a superficial practice. And without any practice, I will not say impossible, because theoretically everything is possible. In a normal practice, to start seeing and going through and start making a difference, at least 4 to 5 hours a day of meditation. Meditation to maintain stillness. It's a different meditation. It's not the kind of meditation to reach somewhere, but to stay detached from everywhere, elsewhere, whatever. And in these intense periods, if you try to go over that barrier, for example, I said 10 days. If you want to cross that barrier, for example, without the amount of practice needed, if you haven't done it many times, you will see clearly, or if it's the first time or second time, you will see that in that period, the will to give up, to stop that, will be very intense sometimes. Of course, there will be blessings, and usually they can come more or less in the end. There's a blessing, there's a growth, and sometimes in the middle, that depends on a lot of factors. But this need to give up, the negativities, all that you're carrying with you will be visible. And the more you can learn to be in the middle of your chaos, the less power that chaos will have over you. And the more it will dissolve. And the more this deeper chaos dissolves, the more you will experience this deeper peace, which is of a very different quality from this superficial peace. And that deeper peace is the meditation mat, the seat where everything happens, when the real deal starts. There's a question here. Mahmed, no, I don't know how to pronounce it, but okay. How can we involve with things like water and soil without attachment? And what is the importance of it? Maybe you should make your question a little bit better so that I can give a better answer. But these ideas of involving with the world without attachment, they are with the vision that attachment creates suffering, usually. And if you involve with things without attachment, you will have all the things from this world without the suffering. Well, that's not my field of expertise because I speak here about transcendence. It's about transcending the world, not about taking the best out of it without suffering, because suffering is a very big aid. Transcendence, self-realization is the greatest achievement. It's the purpose of life, of this. It is the highest that this aims. It is the highest of this potential. So, with that in mind, why would we waste time trying to get some crumbs, throwing away the banquet? It doesn't make sense. So attachment is there for a reason, for a purpose. It is showing you your misconceptions. It is showing you the underlying deep beliefs about yourself and the world. And it is giving you a path towards transcendence. Suffering is a wake-up call, because it is giving you a feedback that it's not it. This is contrary to what I'm looking for. So it's like, well, I believe that happiness comes from circumstances, but attachment creates suffering. So I will try to get happiness from the circumstances, removing the attachment, which is what gives the bad flavor. But that's not what gives the suffering. What gives the suffering is this idea that happiness comes from circumstances, that you are circumstance. And with this, a lot of misconceptions come with it. And suffering is reminding you, is telling you, look, your ideas are very good, very sophisticated, but they are wrong. I'm the fruit of your investment, of your beliefs. until the beliefs crumble. And they can only crumble by investigation, by observing the facts. So, being without attachment, it's not the goal. The practice of it, because, well, you're not attached to everything. You're not. There are things that you don't care. It doesn't matter how important they may seem, but you don't care. Others, they may appear insignificant, and they are the world to you. So attachments are showing you your misconceptions, your beliefs, desires, investments, everything which is unseen becomes visible. So a life without it and without self-realization, what's the point? It doesn't matter if you're in a golden cage or in an iron cage, it's a cage. And self-realization, it's not about improving the cage. It's about transcending the cage. Hello, Shima. You mean to see, to find where come the deeper chaos? It's not that it comes, well, correction, where come from deeper chaos? Well, I think I understood your question. But it's not where does it come from. It's not that. It's what kind of deeper chaos is there. Because it's not coming from anywhere. It is there. So it is about seeing this, knowing this deeper chaos, to be in the presence of it. It's to be in the middle of it, like 1,000 megaphones in your head screaming, bah, unbearably. And the more you can focus in the middle of your own deeper chaos, it will manifest in specific ways, unique ways. If you hear different experiences of deeper chaos from different seekers, you will see that they affect differently on each other. And you will see in those experiences, if you know them, you will see their daily lives, how this is manifesting in a superficial way, in a more subtle way. So these are the roots. It's not that it's coming from somewhere. It is there, unseen. And the more high the vibration becomes, the more visible this will become, because there will be a gap in vibration. So this deeper chaos is dense vibration. And if your vibration rises, the gap will reveal this deeper chaos. Depending on the intensity, you will not be able to bear it. But you will bear enough to be able to learn and to outgrow this. To outgrow this. And the more you see these beliefs, you see this deeper chaos, the stronger you'll become, and you will be able to identify this at a more superficial level. Because the experience that you are having, with its good part, with its bad part, when you're laughing, when you're crying, even or especially when you're saying this, that you don't want that anymore, be sure that that's exactly what you want. And at this deeper level, you can see it. You'll be able to see it. The idea that it's coming from somewhere it's at the same level of this vision that I have to get rid of it. Something that is coming and I will have to get rid of it. This is confusion. What is making this world, the experience of it, real? Like a web, all around this center point, which is your identity. And by your identity, I mean identity. A central point, which is actually the center of the universe. What is that is glued, stuck to this central point? And you will see layer by layer of piled beliefs. Don't settle for superficial peace that is meaningless. But we can be addicted to the chaos, no? Well, depends on what you're talking about. I'm not sure what this means. But this kind of chaos that I'm talking about, it's not something that you get addicted to, because this can be this superficial chaos, something that you get addicted to. What is the difference? The difference is the character in the middle. So, in front, into the horizon of the character, comes superficial chaos. And to that, this character may be addicted to. It is addicted to, for several reasons. Because it feeds this deeper chaos. But this deeper chaos is previous to this character, is the foundations, the basis of this character. It's something that the character normally cannot see, because he exists after this chaos. And whatever is experienced and created addiction, that is secondary. Those are not the roots. The roots are previous. But like I said, you may be saying this sentence and with a complete different meaning. So if you want to explain it better, that will be better. So these are the bricks of your experience, that which gives the taste, the punch, with its goods, with its bads, the flavor, the aspirations, the importance, all of this. These are the deeper knots of your illusion. And there's another way also to try to access this deeper chaos, and that is not exerting control. Exerting, not sure if that word is suitable. Well, I'll change it a little bit to be more correct. Maybe it is correct. No. Stop exercising control. This will help you to reach this deeper chaos. But the question is, without the high vibration, it's much complicated, much more difficult. But if you can stop exercising control, because there's a reason why you exercise control, why you try to control everything and everyone. And it is to avoid this deeper chaos, this unbearable deeper chaos. If you can stop controlling, a lot of things will come. First, anxiety, that is the threat, the menace, that something bad will happen if you don't do something. And then it will start coming up. But the higher the vibration is, the more complete it becomes. I mean, the chaos, it is same as deeply bad emotions, negativity, negative thinking. But it's a soup. It's a soup. It's not potatoes, peas, pasta, whatever you put on the soup. It's a soup. What do I mean with this? This kind of analytical thinking, separating this, oh, this is bad emotions, that it is there. It is a context. It is a context. You look at bad emotions, for example, and you could say bad thoughts, negative thoughts, but you're focusing on emotions, for sure, because emotions have a more important role in your life, and probably it is a centerpiece of your life. And in some way, you think that if you solve that part, everything gets taken care of, but that's not the case. Emotions, thoughts, sensations, it's like the instruments of an orchestra. And when they are playing all together, it gives a cohesive feedback. And you gain nothing on identifying this instrument or that instrument. It's the whole, it's the soup. Where bad emotions have a big role, good emotions have a big role also. Illusion, it's not just made of vinegar, it's made of honey also. Both are there. Here's the vinegar, here's the honey. And because of the vinegar, I run to the honey. And without understanding, as I'm running to the honey, I'm actually running towards the vinegar. And the more I get closer to the vinegar, the more I want to go to the honey. The more I go for the honey, the closer I get to the vinegar. It is like this. This is why stillness breaks everything. Because by stillness, less and less can be superimposed to you. As long as you want to play, imposition occurs. The less and less you want to play, less imposition is possible. Okay, so for today, that's it. Next satsang will be Wednesday, 9:30 in the morning, Brazilian time, UTC -3. Until then, make the best use of your time. And understand that despite what nature is telling you, despite what others are telling you, which is the same thing as nature, despite what your mind is telling you, which is the same as nature, despite what your senses are telling you, it is the same as nature. Your time is for self-realization alone. Self-realization alone. And whatever you use, apart from self-realization, it is a complete waste of precious time. Last question. What to do with this orchestra, Eddie? Nothing. Yeah, nothing is a good word. It's translating it. It is stop dancing. Stop dancing. Everything sums up to stillness. But this word, it's much bigger than it appears to be. Because that orchestra, that feedback, that deeper chaos is making you dance to its tune, dragging you from one place to another, maintaining you overwhelmed, hopeful, despaired, or something in between, doesn't matter. But it continues. It's like a music that's being produced for you to dance continuously. So the more you recognize it, the less you will dance. The more you will stand still. Doesn't matter what kind of impulses are trying to push you. You will hold your grounds and you will stand still. Okay, watch.